or let me start with my past experience. I graduated from uni and came to Bahrain, and I was like, I want to do something for myself. So the first thing that I've noticed or struggled with when I was abroad was having food in the office. So so I created this company which is called Foods Limited, where we did monthly subscriptions to offices and employees, where you pay 60 BD a month and you'll get your lunch delivered to you. That was in 2010, where this idea didn't even exist in Bahrain. So alhamdulillah, we managed to scale from that, and from that we did we opened several branches, and we managed catering of schools, the canteen of schools. But how did I start the company is the question. So the funding opportunity that was available back then was Tenmou and Bahrain Development Bank. And thankfully, and with their support, we managed to open, get a loan, get grants, and expand from there. However, what I would like to share with you, this new scheme that the world it's not new, but Bahrain and the region is focusing on, is equity-based finance. So imagine investors investing in your startups instead of going to take a loan from a bank. Investors take the risk with you and fund you and believe in your concept, believe in you more than the concept itself. So this is what equity financing is all about, what we do in Tenmou as well. So let me talk more about Tenmou. In 2010, a group of 16 investors came together and put in $1 million with the aim of investing in Bahraini local startups. And from there, they would fund 30,000 BD and take equity against that money. So a startup comes with their idea, and if the investment committee approves it, then the startup will get 30,000 BD for 30% of the company. So Tenmou owns 30% of the startup. And that helps the startup cover their costs, expand, and so forth. What we did recently, we changed our model, where we created an investment thesis around this. So we invest in Bahraini startups with equity between 2 to 10% against around $50,000. And we look at evaluations around 350,000 to $2.5 million. In a nutshell, we come in hand with the founder, and we invest in the founder, in the business, and we take equity against whatever cash we provide. It's another route other than getting a loan from a bank, which you need to repay. This with our financing scheme is that we come as partners with the startup and the founder. It's a different source of funding opportunity for startups. There are several stages for funding. We come at the very early stage, which is called seed pre-seed, where we invest in a company that has traction, that they have a product or a service, and they're tech-based, so they can scale all over the world easily. Um, I actually want to know more about you guys. What kind of thoughts you have on uh, this funding or this finance scheme? What are your questions? What do you require in terms of funding? Is it only funding? Is it mentorship? So we invest in tech startups. The reason why we invest in tech startups because the scalability or the ease of scaling and the impact that they can offer is much greater because you can be in Bahrain, but you can serve people in America. You can be in Bahrain and serve the whole region from here. Um, and, and, and technology companies are the biggest companies in the world now. If you call it Google, Amazon, Facebook. So all of these companies are tech focused, and we want to be, and we want to see Bahraini companies become unicorns and listed in international markets. So what we provide is the first seed of investment, which gives all of these startups opportunities to grow. We've seen a lot of drop shipping ideas out there. I just want to say one thing. In Tenmou, we focus mostly on the founder himself or herself, because at the end of the day, ideas are cheap, and what we are investing in is the the founder. We're investing in the on the founder, and we would like to see founders that disrupt the industry, even if they're doing something that is available in the market. Maybe they can put a they have a competitive edge that can drive the business. We've seen founders create crazy ideas and bring them to life, and we've seen great ideas with really weak founders die by the end of the 12-month cycle. Do you offer programs or just fund? So basically, we invest. However, our office is open for any one-to-one mentorship and advisory, you name it, meetings or anything. We would be interested in connecting startups with other investors. This is one of our mandates. So I see here there is a question about food and beverage startups. What we do, sometimes we get like startups that want funding and their food F&B in the F&B sector. So we connect them with investors. Some investors don't like to invest in F&B concepts because they are high in assets. So the company requires a lot of assets for you to make it big. That's why we invest in startups that are tech focused, because with tech you can expand quicker with less amount of financial resources and assets, basically. But we are working on a program to support and mentor our startups. However, the best way for you to get invested in and be part of a program is through the accelerators. So Flat 6 Labs is a brilliant program in Bahrain that provides both mentorship and investment, which we have a partnership with. We actually look at startups that graduate from accelerators because they're ready, they're investment ready, and they talk our talk, and they want to, and they know exactly what we want, and they understand the evaluation process. So I really recommend, if you think that you have a company or an idea that you're willing to expand, start off with an accelerator and then go to angels and other investors. The team and the tech team is very important. However, I really focus on himself. We've seen great founders change the course of companies, and we've seen really weak partners destroy great ideas. I really look at maybe 70% of our funding opportunities are given to really good founders. So when we evaluate the startups, I put personally 70% of my mind on the founder himself or herself. We look at whether they're coachable. This is another one. Whether they can communicate with investors and change the course of the company. So it's a bit of both skills, knowledge, and we're all learn from each other. And how can you work with other investors is another thing. So yeah, I think it's a lot of components put together in investing in the founder itself. One of the criteria we look at patents, because some technologies require patents. However, it's very difficult for us to judge the progress and the progress of the patent in a very early stage, at a very early stage. For example, patents require a lot of money, and we only provide around 20,000 BD of funding, so we can't like force the company from our fund. So maybe when they grow and bring other investors, like the VCs in the later stages, would require patents. However, for us, because we're very early, founder, we're the most risk takers in the whole startup journey. So we would look at it, but we don't. It's not a must. Because why do you want to reinvent the wheel if we don't have it in the region? Let's do it. However, if you have something that can solve a problem and even other parts of the world would benefit from, definitely we would pitch in and invest in them. However, we don't mind copycats. Yani Kareem did it, and they're successful. They got bought out by Uber. So yeah, we're open. But as I said, we are the very early investors. So what angels do, they come at early. Maybe VCs and later stage startups that invest in Series A and above would go into a very rigorous due diligence process. But as a start, if you believe in the concept, if the market is there for it, if you can scale easily in the Saudi market to start with, and then the GCC and the MENA region, and then the world, then this is what we're looking at. If you can have a founder or a team of founders, then sometimes we prefer a team of founders, to be honest, because each one, they're competing with each other, they drive each other, they can, each person can focus on a different side of the business. So yeah, tech is very hard. So you need to have a very tech strong co-founder or a CDO that will help you grow the business. We've seen most startups in Bahrain outsource this task. However, if there is an in-house CTO, we really recommend that. So we've seen a lot of startups and founders in particular that come every week with or every month or every year with a different idea, and they sell this idea to us. Hi, for me, it's a turn off, because how can you have all of these great ideas and didn't succeed in at least one? So coming and pivoting or changing your idea quickly or changing your concept very quickly and without testing the market, or coming every season with a different concept, is something that we don't look at, and we turn them down. We've seen a lot of founders do that. However, what we look at it as a founder, I said, in the drive, the passion, the market, and whether they really understand the market and the technology behind it and the product, and the ability to bring other investors, because we're only investing with 20,000. For you to develop and grow your company, you need at least $500,000 for you to develop and grow and all of that. So 50 out of 500 is only 10% of how much financing you're getting. So what kind the founder needs to be, or she or he needs to be very dynamic or very persuasive in getting other investors on board. Because يعني كل ما يبنى أكثر مستثمرين في الشركة تكبر الشركة، تكبر في حجمها، تكبر في موظفينها. فإحنا قاعد ندعم الشركات عشان إنه يكبرون. فشلون يكبرون؟ يكبرون من خلال تمويل أو استثمار على استثمارنا. فشلون نوصل من المرحلة seed, pre-seed لseed, عقب series A, series B, and so forth is that. And the founder is, or the CEO or the COO are responsible for bringing other investors in and growing the company. I actually think if يعني أنا توني من بداية 2010 صرت في 2020 تخرجت من الجامعة، جيت البحرين، سويت فكرتي ورحت حق انفسترز أحسن من ما رحت من بنك أو رحت لبنك وخذيت منهم القرض. لأنه شنو بيسوي لي الانفستر؟ بيفتح لي بيبان مع potential projects or clients. هل انفستر بيجيب لي other investment؟ هل انفستر بيعطيني من خبرته؟ البنك شنو بيعطيك من خبرته؟ بياخذ منك interest rate وبتدفع له. واحنا ما ناخذ ترى يعني percentages. يعني you're talking about, in a nutshell, for seed, pre-seed, maximum you should lose around 20% of equity. The rest is still owned by the founder and the employees of the startup. فيعني ليش لا 20% في الشركة أعطيها حق ناس يفيدوني يكبرون شركتي، يجيبون لي بروجكت، ولا إن أنا أتم بروحي أخذ قرض أو أخذ من فلوسي. طبعا أنا ما قاعد أقول إن القروض مو مهمة حق الشركات، لا، إحنا قاعد نتكلم عن tech companies. Tech companies for them to grow في العالم، نظرة العالم ونظرة الانفسترز يبون يشوفون ايش قد investors حطوا فيه، ايش قد investors believed in the idea and the concept, and investors put in and re-put in money in the company. ففي بعض الشركات لا تحتاج قرض مصنع، يحتاج millions of dollars to invest in, and an investor won't put يلا تعال خذ millions of dollars. You might need a bank or maybe a bank partner that can come in. لكن احنا قاعد نتكلم عن tech startups that form and solve a problem and believe in the whole market. ليش لا؟ انا يجيب لي investor shares the risk، يعطيني الدافع، يقعد معي في البورد، يعطيني من وقته. وانا ما قاعد اقول بعد انه بتاخذوا اي فلوس من اي احد، لا. الانفستر يظن انه يقدر يكبر الشركه. That can add value, that can support your company to grow, is what you're looking at. It's not easy to get the right investor as well. Sometimes we reject a lot of companies and startups because we are not fit and we're not capable of mentoring or supporting the startup. It's not us. So you need to find the right investor as well, not even we go and search for the right startup. They understand the need of an investor rather than taking the risk all by themselves. They understand the impact of having a good investor and how can that change the course of history. And not only that, for you to expand and want VC money, which is the goal, and maybe IPO and all of that and acquisition, you need to put the track record with investors. Either عندك just one investor or none, nobody's gonna invest in you because بيقولوا hi, they're not coachable, or they didn't even approach investors. They don't know how to work with investors, so why would we work with them? The end goal of a startup is either merger acquisition or an IPO. So بالعكس, wherever you can make money, you'll do it. Sometimes founders want the IPO route, sometimes they want the merger and acquisition. احنا وايد نشوف mergers and acquisitions in the region. IPOs are very rare. بس ما يمنع، بالعكس في دبي صارت، فما يمنع انه يصير IPOs. We would even in Bahrain يعني ترى you can have a unicorn with any resources that you can get. يعني funding is a major role، بس انتم عندكم البحرين والخليج كامل تحت يعني يدنا، لان نقدر نروح السعوديه في شنو نص ساعه. ف going and seeking investors in Bahrain and the region should be easy if you know how you can manage it basically.